WandaVision season finale. We made it, we got there in the end, it's over. Today's episode is pretty much what we all expected. It was Agnes and Wanda fighting, and then the new Vision fighting the hologram Vision, and lots of CG and one-liners and all that sort of crap. Did I enjoy today's episode? Not really. It kind of epitomised what the back end of this season has been, and it's just been a convoluted mess of characters. Nothing really makes sense. Plot holes are being formed constantly, and they had so much to do in this last episode, and they really didn't leave themselves enough time, I think, to do it. Essentially what they did was the first 3 episodes were nice and calm and casual. The next 4 were sort of mysterious and trying to uncover what's going on, and the last 2 was just boss fight. And obviously, as they had to wrap up the season today, it doesn't look like this is going to be a show where we get another season. They could possibly be setting up spin-offs, however. But Wanda saves the day. She embraces the fact that she's the Scarlet Witch, and she defeats Agnes. The White Vision that came in to cause havoc talks to the hologram Vision, and they have like a heart-to-heart because they're the same person. The physical Vision gets the memories of the old Vision, and it sort of redeems him. And in the end, Wanda has to make the sacrifice. She has to sacrifice the world and the make-believe children and the make-believe Vision so that, you know, everyone in the town could be free. And she does all this, and then she traps Agnes in the world, even though the world disappears, so I'm not really quite sure where she's trapped. And Wanda just sort of disappears and goes into hiding. Now for me, this show really fell off. It started off high and just dropped for me, kind of plummeted. And I think the reason it started off so well was because it was something different. It was that downtime that I've talked about before. We like seeing our heroes in their downtime because we're so used to seeing them doing the other stuff. And the first 3 episodes were just fun, you know, set in like the 50s, 60s, 70s. They're doing funny family stuff, they're doing magic shows, they're having guests over for dinner, and they just, you know, sprinkled in little elements of mystery, which was fun. It was like, it kept you watching because you weren't just watching a Marvel sitcom that had no meaning. You're watching something where you weren't sure why it was happening, but you were enjoying it nonetheless. And then they were putting in these little bits that sort of had you go, ooh, what's actually going on here? What's the bigger picture? But the main thing is they were telling a good story, and they sacrificed that to do what all the MCU movies has done, and that's put in, you know, all this lore and backstory and more comic book characters. And it became convoluted very quickly. The show was really about Wanda and Vision to start with, you know, hence being called WandaVision, with a few little sub characters. And then it just became kind of crazy with them shoving all these other people in, like Monica and Agnes and all this other stuff. And I think the show had a really nice pacing to it. It flowed really nicely in those first 2 episodes. There was a consistency going on there. And then in that 4th episode, the Monica episode, which is solely about her, that was kind of the first red flag for me, because that wasn't put in well. It wasn't paced properly. You just sort of had Wanda and Vision to start with, and you think, okay, that's what this show is. And then they just put that episode in, you're like, okay. I mean, they kind of fixed it up a bit after that. You know, the following 3 episodes, I think it was, you had like a 50-50 split between the 2. That was working a bit better. That was nicer. I enjoyed that. And then you had episode 8, last week's episode, which just had no Monica in it. It was just a focus on Agnes and Wanda, but there was like no Vision. And then today's episode had everyone together, but you can't really give everyone enough screen time, so it all just felt a bit rushed. You know, the best episodes of this season were the first 3, and they chose to tell this big dramatic story instead with witches and all this other crap. And I think you could have kept this story a lot more personal and just kept it about Wanda, her life, and why she created this world, and just make it just make it smaller. Just make it about her. It was nice having some downtime at the start of the season. You just sort of sit back, relax, enjoy. You don't feel like you've got to pay ridiculous amounts of attention to what's going on. You're just sitting, you're enjoying, and you're picking up on the little bits. But instead they just kind of went cliche MCU and said, yeah, let's make it a big dramatic grand scheme story, and bring in this Agatha Harkness, and bring in Captain Marvel again, but in a different version. Bring in Peter Maximoff from the X-Men movies, but make him Pietro in this. It was getting complex already, and then they brought him in, and I'm just trying to understand, what is that, a multiverse thing? I don't know. So yeah, the show just really nosedived for me. I don't think they did the right thing. They started off so well, so promising. You know, the reaction on Twitter as well, everyone was like, I don't really know what's going on, but I'm loving it. And that was exactly how I felt. Now it's sort of gone down a route of, I kind of know what's going on, but it doesn't make sense, and I'm not really loving it. As I said, plot holes have been left. Agnes, Wanda said she trapped her in that body in the world, but then the world got destroyed. So she now just trapped in the body of a normal civilian. I don't know. As I said, Pietro, I don't know. Was he just made up? They just going to play that off as, oh, we just got him to play another Peter Maximoff? But that would make sense. It really wouldn't. There must be some multiverse thing going on here. Again, I don't know. And then Vision, the physical Vision. Well, I don't know where he buggered off to. I mean, I assume him and Wanda are going to reunite at some point because she didn't actually see that Vision and she didn't find that Vision. And the Vision that she made up didn't tell her that, oh yeah, by the way, I fixed the physical Vision so you can go chill with him now. Maybe they'll just bring her back into the next Avengers movie or something. Who knows? There were 2 end credit sequences as well. The midway one was Monica gets greeted by those green people from Captain Marvel. One of them's just like, yeah, we want to talk to you up top. I was a friend of your mother's. And I was just like, okay. God, they're probably setting that up for like a spin-off series or something, which I hope not. I'm not really that interested in Monica, to be honest. Put it in a movie maybe, like Captain Marvel 2, I guess. But yeah, I'm not really that bothered about that. And then the second end credit sequence, which was pretty much at the end of the credits. Wanda's just sort of living in isolation in some nice cabin by a mountain and woods. Very, very cozy. And then she's making a pot of tea, and then the camera pans around and she's also in the other room reading a book, maybe Dr. Seuss. But yeah, those end credit sequences, they didn't do much for me. I was kind of hoping we'd see Vision in one of them, or like Vision and her reunite. That was my hope for the end credit sequence, but no. I think that would have been a nice thing to do. So, the verdict. Well, as I pretty much said, I thought it started off really well. Those first few episodes were like 9, 10 out of 10. I loved them. It kind of fell off a little bit in the middle, but it was still doing okay. It was kind of getting a bit better. And then at the end, last 2 episodes just plummeted for me. I really lost interest. I was actually bored watching it. And it's a shame. I think they just should have stuck to the basics, kept it nice and simple, told a good, mysterious story, but just kept it kind of lower profile. Overall, I give this show a 6.5. It's a shame. I never would have thought I'd rated it that low to start with, because as I said, those first few episodes were great, but it just fell off for me, and a lot of stuff I wasn't picking up on. I'm not the most die-hard Marvel fan, and you know, other people out there going, oh, look at this, look at this, look at this, and I'm just like, as someone who's watched all the MCU movies, it shouldn't be this hard for me to pick up on what's going on in the show, but it really does take some external knowledge to understand what the hell's going on here. I kind of wanted just some casual viewing here, something where I don't really need to pay huge amounts of attention to non-stop trying to understand the little bits, you know, where I've got to do like research afterwards. But hey, not great, not terrible, just alright. Thank you all for watching my reviews for this show. We've got the Winter Soldier and the Winter Soldier and the Falcon, coming up in a few weeks, I think. So hopefully that does a slightly better job than this. I'm quite looking forward to that one. But yes, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.